For those of you who are returning and anyone new, this is Transfer Tuesday. It's the day of the week where I share what money moves I'm making to get closer to my goals, because I found that weekly progress works way better for me than waiting for once a month doing something then. Having it on my radar every single week, having a day where I'm forced to look at my money, I'm forced to make a financial move, I'm forced to literally transfer the money from my checking to my savings or from my checking to pay off debt. It makes me progress further and faster than if I was just waiting around for that once a month bill. So that's why I do Transfer Tuesday. That's why I started it. That's why a lot of you guys do it, because you found the same thing in your own life. Just having a more consistent checkpoint is really helpful. So we're going to work on my money today because I am still doing Transfer Tuesday personally, and I am working on two different goals right now. So the first goal is to max out my Roth IRA for 2023, and that amount is $6,500 in this year, this calendar year. And then also to save up $20,000 to put toward a home down payment, which I will talk about after we've done the numbers, but I have some thoughts on that and specifically timeline things. So stick around for that, but for now, let's get started and look at my numbers. First, we're gonna look at the Roth IRA, and that is $6,500 for the year of 2023. We've been making progress because I'm following a cute little chart that I designed that I keep in my planner so that I know how much I've already done, what amounts I have left to contribute for the year. So I follow that every single week, which makes it super easy for me, and I don't really have to think about it, which is always nice. And then last week we were at $2,750 contributed for the year of 2023, and this week I'm putting in $120. So I'm putting in $120, which brings my contributions up to $2,870. We're getting close to that 3,000 mark, which means we will be close to halfway, which is very, very exciting. And I got to color in another little bubble, the 120 on this chart in my investing challenge, and that's always exciting as well. It's nice to see it filling in, and I know that we're halfway through the year, so the rest of these numbers are going to be filling in as well, and then we will be done. Wow. It's kind of crazy to think about. So I do have a lot of the bigger numbers left in the year because in the beginning of the year, I was also funding a Disney World trip, which I have done a video about, and we spent a lot of money on that. So I haven't done a lot of the bigger numbers for this investing challenge, but those will be coming later in the year, which at least I'm aware of, and I know because I can see on my chart what's left. So let's look at the other big financial goal, which is kind of our main one right now. It's kind of our biggest goal, and that is saving up $20,000 for our house down payment. And I will talk about it after we look at the numbers, but yeah, that goal is, it's been going on for a couple of years now. We do have a home and we are in a fine place. But we were going to change for school districts, and we were going to get more space because we're kind of on top of each other now with two kids. But those interest rates shot up so quickly, within a year, and we've kind of readjusted our plan. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but first let's look at the numbers. Okay, so last week we ended the week at $5,727.82, which was 28% funded. So we were at 57.27, which was pretty good. And then this week we have three different transfers. So our first transfer is $50, and this is $50 that is budgeted weekly to go into this account. It's an automatic transfer. So I do have a automatic transfer that goes in. $50 goes in every single week. So roughly $200 a month is going into this account every single month because we have budgeted for that in our monthly budget. And then we do have the other two transfers. So I had $100 that I found from accounts where we hadn't spent money and where we had a little bit of extra kind of hanging around. So I moved that over, and that $100 bumped us up again. And then I had $175 from income that I contributed from my business. So $175 from Penny is Not Perfection. And that bumped us up over the next milestone, which is $6,000. I was having so much trouble saying $6,000. I don't know why. Sometimes I have trouble with my words, but $6,000, we passed that. We are now at $6,000. Wow, this is going to be a rough $1,000 mark to talk about. We are now at $6,052.82. Woohoo! The confetti falls from the sky. Woohoo! That is 30% funded. So that's really great. I'm super excited about that. Really, honestly, thrilled. Honestly. That feels really amazing. I'm very excited. Yeah, having a couple different transfers bumped us up over that 30% mark, which is fantastic. So we're just going to keep working on that and keep adding to that amount. So next week, actually, I already know that it's going to be a lesser amount. It's going to be a worse week next week. It's going to be bad because we just racked up, well, I personally, just racked up several $100s in medical bills. So good job, Mary. So I racked up some money that was unexpected in medical bills. So we might do a payment plan for that, but we might just pay it next week and skip like a Transfer Tuesday and use the money that we would have put toward Transfer Tuesday toward the medical bills. I'm still undecided about that. I won't go on a medical bill rant or a living in the US rant because I've lived in countries with like universal health care and I very much personally prefer it and wish that was a system we had. So I won't go on that rant right now, but I will say that we do have some bills coming up. So I might have a bad week next week, but I've also had a really good month in July. July has been an amazing month for Transfer Tuesday. Looking back at the last few weeks, I think we have one more week in July, but looking at the 4 weeks we've already done, like it's been really good. We've had some really good transfers in July and we started the month at like $4,800. It was like $4,836 and we're now over $6,000. So we've added $1,200 basically this month to this goal, which is pretty good. It's definitely more than it was in previous months. So I'm very happy about that. It is not at the level or speed that I would need it to be to hit the goal by the end of the year. So I'm actually considering like changing that goal to have a different deadline. It doesn't have to necessarily be done by the end of the year. Obviously, that's just an arbitrary goal I set for myself in my 2023 goals. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. If it does happen, that's amazing. But I'm just kind of like considering not stressing so much about it because our timeline for buying our house has changed. So our need to save up money has also changed and maybe taking a little pressure off of it would be good for us. Would be good for me specifically because I'm probably the only one that stresses about this. But that's just some thoughts because our home buying timeline has changed. It's not a rush necessarily. I don't want to end up being house poor. I don't want to end up being in a situation where we're struggling monthly to pay our mortgage because right now, like, it's so inexpensive to be here. So I don't really want to put pressure on myself for buying the home because I was doing that for a while and we stopped that and we've reevaluated the timeline for buying. So I might be reevaluating the timeline for the actual saving of a down payment. Just some thoughts on our home buying process, our home buying journey, and where we are. But the growth this month in general has been great. I'm like very proud of us. That's been good. $1,200 is nothing to laugh at, and I'm very proud of that growth. So if you watch this far, comment club, type down below, keep growing because we are going to keep growing. We might not be growing at the speed that I like, but we are growing and that's what matters. So see you guys next week. Bye guys.